Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, and it is 1:45 in the morning. Looks like Konami is taking a page out of the Broke Boy Yu-Gi-Oh! Handbook and just throwing up content while all of the East Coast is asleep. Well, do not worry, folks. I'm a gremlin, and as a result, I am almost always up after midnight. But my loss is your gain. We are going to be able to do a live reaction. Now, all I've been told so far is that there is a Banlist update and it's in the app. We're going to take a look at it, but first I want to talk real specifically about what I hope they have changed. To me, Master Duel has been a mixed bag. It's fantastic in terms of visuals, it's fun to play, it's responsive, it looks great, but it's unfortunately hampered by a miserable ladder system. It is a chore getting to Diamond every month, and it was miserable playing Duelist Cup for a couple of reasons that I hope they are able to fix. Firstly, Max C. I'm sorry to all of my OCG brethren, but this card is not fun to play with or against. Secondly, Best of 1 All-Stars. I understand it is not feasible for Best of 3 to be the way to play this game, but if you want the game to be Best of 1, you need to balance accordingly. Instead of forcing people to just put a bunch of dead cards in their deck and hope they draw into their Cosmic Cyclones into the right matchup, you need to remove the cards that create unfun and uninteractive board states that are specifically designed to exploit the fact that you can't go to your sideboard to get answers for these cards, and remove them from the game. I'm talking about big uncounterable bosses like VFD, yes, but I'm also talking about some less powerful cards that do not see a ton of play. Cards like Tikaboo and Skill Drain are not fun remotely and do not enable a single deck that is worth mentioning. And finally, I'd like to see the metagame shaken up in some capacity. Right now, we are functionally just playing the Adventure Pranked meta that we played about 6 months ago in the TCG. That's really frustrating when currently the TCG is kind of the most fun I've been having playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In the past couple of years. Lagging behind sucks, and I'd like them to be able to differentiate formats by way of a completely different ban list. So, let's see what we got. There it is. All right, let's see what we got. So, August 31st, we have compiled the trends and results of decks used in ranked duels and events and will limit cards and decks with outstandingly high usage and win rates in line with our impact on the metagame. So these are going to be data-driven, which sucks. I would really like them to be driven by personal feelings a lot of the time. Cards like Skill Drain might not have a huge win rate, but they are unfun to play against. The changes made to the list reflect our aims of preventing duels from being too difficult to counter and ensuring the tactical element is not comprised by overly short duels. I take back everything I just said. Alongside the implementation of the revised Forbidden Limited list, we're going to have an unlimited option where no Forbidden Limited list is applied to be scheduled to implement it for duel rooms. So that will be where we can play Mystic Mine. Let's see what we've got. Forbidden. True King of all calamities. Perfect. Imperial Order. Thank the Lord. Vanity's Emptiness. Hell yes. Alright, so if you have no idea what's going on here, Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer is extremely powerful. It's available at all stages of the game to any deck that is willing to include Fusion Destiny, Celestial, Dasher, and a Verte Anaconda in the extra deck. This was a problem in the TCG for a long period of time that we resolved by banning Verte. But it looks like what they have decided to do is keep the entire line legal, but prevent you from getting the draw to that you would occasionally get if play passed back to you. This was my pick for a hit in the TCG should we not ban Verte, but I want to be clear. I really like the Verte ban. I think that this is an absolutely cowardly hit, but if you're going to be a coward, they went about it the right way. And Bamboozler Gossip Shadow. Ridiculous. Just absurd. The reason that the Bamboozling Gossip Shadow is so good is because Rongo Nimiad exists, but it does resolve the problem, so I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. And limited, we've got Crossy, Prospy, Meowmoo, FD. Well, that's very strange, actually. Crossy is ridiculous. It's less good than Called By, a card that is currently semi-limited, but I think cards like Crossout and Called By are not particularly healthy for the game, but I gotta say, they feel like a necessity when Max C exists. This is just going to cause Max C to decide games more frequently because there are fewer counters for it. Prospy is fine. Realistically, this card is way more powerful than it needs to be. The only reason it hasn't been hit in the TCG is because it's too new. Prankid's Meow Meow Moo is upsetting. I would have preferred to see this card banned like it is in the TCG, but if it's going to be put anywhere, 1 is fine. It just means that the crackback for Prankit is going to be a lot less powerful, and Fusion Destiny to 1 probably does not mean too much. While Fusion Destiny was in a weird sweet spot of a Garnet that was also really good to draw, only playing 1 copy of it means it'll always be available either for Predaplay and Verity Anaconda, or you'll just be able to fire it from your hand, so I imagine that people will still be playing it. Now, if there's one thing the OCG likes, it's their semi-limits, and so far Master Duel has followed that philosophy incredibly well. Oh, not a ton. Altergeist Multi-Faker. Was that limited or something? Gazelle. That's very odd. Skill Drain to 2. Great. True, fantastic hit. I mean, anything that makes Skill Drain determine fewer games is good, but putting these cards to 2 doesn't make them less powerful. It makes it more sacky, right? Now, when your opponent flips a Skill Drain, you can get slightly more mad because you know they drew it. And Fire Formation to tanky to 2, that's fine. We just can't decide where we want this card. Oh, we are unbanning Knight Assailant, which I imagine has the errata that it currently has in the TCG and the OCG. Well, it's a step in the right direction, but at least to me, it doesn't feel like the leap necessary to prevent this game from getting too stale. T-King, Imperial Order, Vanities, Bamboozler into Ronco Nimiad, these were all clear problems with the format and did need to be excised. But they exist in a context of a bunch of other decks that are just fundamentally unfun. Just going off Master Duel meta right now, Adventure Prankid is still extremely powerful post-Banlist. Remember, this deck was the best in the TCG with 1 copy of Meowmoo. Fluonderies have no hits whatsoever, and even if they don't expect the deck to be tiered nearly as highly as these other options, it is such a frustrating encounter that I would have hoped they would have done something about it. Eldritch exists, and just like last time when setting Conquistador to 1 failed to kill the deck, moving Skill Drain to 2 just means that they'll diversify their suite of floodgates that win the game instantly. Maybe you'll see 3 Gozen and 1 Rivalry instead of 3 Gozen and 3 Skill Drain. Adventure Tenyi and Sword Soul Tenyi got literally 0 hits. The former of those decks goes through a Halcdon line that is not legal anywhere. It makes Baron and Borreload and Thunder Dragon Colossus and Danglong and 9 Pillars, a setup that no deck can beat unless they've opened Maxi. And to top it all off, Maxi still exists and is searchable by B-Trooper. It might seem like I'm cynically whining, like, oh, 36 hits, last time we got 37. But you have to understand, this is a format we already suffered through in the TCG. We know what was good, we know what's going to be good after these hits, and we know what you have to hit in order to prevent these from being the top decks forever. It just feels like we're living in the past, and the past also includes a bunch of extremely unfun Floodgates and Auroradon. And I guess the most frustrating part is that even though a lot of these unfun auto-win cards are now going to be removed from the format, I don't think it's actually going to shake up the specific decks that are good, like, at all. If you look at the Master Duel meta tier list, Adventure Prankid will be built exactly the same. Adventure Phantom Knight was already shaving Rongo for a lower ceiling but more consistent setup line. Virtual World will be okay without VFD, though admittedly this is the deck that takes the biggest hit. Eldritch, Sword Soul Tenyi, Adventure Tenyi, Fluonderies, Dragon Link, and Sky Striker got literally 0 hits. The same meta but less blowouts is definitely a good thing, but it's still the same meta. I don't know, I'll still be playing Master Duel on stream, but the bulk of my competitive focus will probably continue to be spent on the TCG. This certainly hasn't lit a fire under me. Alright, if you want to see me tinkering around with this list, I'll be live at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, which is in 8 hours. Oh boy. Alright, good night.